For you today. I did this look and posted some pictures on my social media not too long ago and asked if you wanted to see what my pink eyeshadow look was, if you wanted a tutorial on it, and a couple of people said yeah, sure. So you know what, I already had the need to put on some makeup today and I thought I might as well film it and do this look for you. So that's what I've done. So if you're interested in seeing how I got this look, then just keep watching. Guys, as you can see, I already have color corrected. I have my foundation, my concealer, and I've powdered. I just finished putting on some eyeshadow primer, so I'm ready to move forward with this look. I'm going to be doing a couple of things. I'm going to be using my Naked Heat palette. I haven't touched that in a hot minute, no pun intended. And then I'm also going to be going into the pink that is in this Sugar Pop from Too Faced. It is really pretty. It's called Bubblegum. It's this right here. You can see I've been using it. I've been using it with damp with my Fix Plus, and it seems to work out really well for me. So that's what I've been doing. So what I'm going to do today is just sort of like a real fun fall slash maybe even Thanksgiving look if you want to wear it for Thanksgiving. But I'm going to try to introduce some bronzes, or just a warm tone color, and then I'm also going to introduce that bright pink, and I'm going to use the darker color, which is called Blackberry. This one right here, I'm going to use it in my outer corner. So yeah, let's just go ahead and get started. I need to go ahead and use, I think I'm just going to use the this is let me see which one of these I want to use. Yeah, I'm going to use this one right here. It's called Ounce from the Heat palette. I'm just going to put that all over with my fluffy brush, my E40. I'm just going to go in and I'm going to put that all over the lid to set down the primer that I put in. I just decided to go ahead with my NARS because that's my favorite. That's just what I use. I spent a lot of money on it, so I want to use it. And since I don't wear makeup like every single day, it's hard for me to really use products up. But I will say I hit pan on my Champagne Pop highlighter. I was so surprised by that, but that just goes to show you how much I love it and how much I use it. But yeah, I really love it, and I'll probably use it again today. It's just, it's sort of my go-to highlight. I just really love it. But yeah, I haven't done anything else with my face. I still need to bronze up and blush and highlight and those kinds of things. But I wanted to get my eyes done first, especially in case there was any fallout that I might need to fix. I'm hoping not, but you can never tell. Okay, I think what I want to do is kind of go in slow. So I'm going to go in with the next two shades, which are Chaser and Sauced. I'm going to go in with those separately. I'm going to start putting those in the crease on top of each other just to get myself a base going. It is really helpful just to have some neutral colors, and these are not necessarily cool colors. They're true neutrals, and so they're really good for the crease area, wherever your crease area might be. Of course, mine is, a little higher than others so that you can actually see it because I have such hooded lids. Now let me go into the second one, which is Sauced. Tap my brush just a little bit because it's got a little bit more color to it, but I'm putting it up pretty high because I want it to be a really pretty natural gradient where, I'm going to be focusing a really warm color in the crease, in the lower area of my crease. So this one is just a really good one to go in with to start warming that crease up, that crease color. It really does make a difference. And I'm looking off to this way because that's my mirror and I'm scared of poking my eyeball out if I don't do it. So I'm not, I can't use the viewfinder really. I'm not one of those fancy YouTubers that has a fancy setup. As you can see, my background isn't much, but it does hide the worst part of the room. So there's that. Okay, so hopefully you can see how that warmed up the crease area just a little bit, just like that right there. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go into this color called Cayenne right here. It is a very warm, it's not like He Devil, it's not got quite as much red to it, but it's a very warm orangey brown. Make sure that I don't get too much. I'm going to go in, I'm still, you know, using the same brush, by the way. And I'm just going to kind of go deep in my crease with this color because I really want my crease to be nice and warm. It's going to help when I go in with that pink if it's really nice and warm. And I love the colors in this heat palette anyway. I don't use this palette on a daily basis, but it has been a while since I've used it, and every time I go back to it just surprises me. It's just such a wonderful palette. I know that the Tarte has the Toasted Tarte palette out now, and I know Kathleen Lights did a comparison video on those two, and she actually thinks that she likes the Tarte palette more. She said, you know, do you need both? Well, it just depends if you're a collector or whatever. You know, if you're a collector, then yeah, you probably are going to want to both, you know, use both. But I think since I have the heat palette, I'm going to pass up on the Toasted palette for now. It's got some really pretty colors. We'll just have to see how it goes. But for right now, I am sinking a lot of money into my son's fraternity and a lot of stuff into getting prepared for my December dailies. So if you don't follow me on any of my other social media, then you would not know this. But no, I'm going to close this, and I'm just going to take my powder brush, and I'm just going to kind of make sure that there's not any loose anything underneath. I set it really well, so I'm just trying to make sure that nothing gets smeared down there. And you can see what a warm crease I have created. And because I have hooded lid, since I went above the actual crease, you can see it. Okay, so I'm going to do that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the Too Faced Sugar Pop, and I'm going to start with the blackberry color that I told you about, which is this one right here. It's just a really deep purple. I like this color better than the one in the heat palette for this particular look. It's, I mean, it's just one of those things, you know, it's probably just about preference, but I just personally like this one better. I'm just going to use the Morphe E18. It's just a little stubby brush. It's not a very precise brush, but for my outer V, it seems to work really well. So I'm just going to kind of go along this area right here and kind of bounce back and forth a little bit before I go up into the crease just a little bit. And you can see how I'm making that outer V. And then I'm just going to bring it up just a little bit. Once you get the majority of the color off in the corner there, you should be good to go. Just like this right here. Okay, do you see what I've done there? Now I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go in with this brush. This brush is a, let me see, it is a Morphe E28. It's a little bit more precise, but I'm just going to go in just to try. It's kind of clean, and I cleaned it as best I could because I haven't actually washed my brushes this week. But I'm just going in with this just to kind of blend out any harsh edges in, you know, that upper area there. I don't want there to be any harsh edges. And so I'm just using this brush for that. I use the other brush for all the other colors. So if I go in, it might, you know, bring that orange up too high and make it, you know, too harsh. So that's what I'm doing with this. Okay, so this is what I have so far. All right, now I do have, you know, a couple of places on the outside that I am going to have to kind of clean up. But for the most part, if you just tap it with your powder brush, it'll kind of get it under control for you. Okay, the next thing that I am going to do is I am going to work on the lid itself, and with that I have been using this Sigma, it says it's a concealer brush, the F70, but it's just a, you can see the pink is on it because I've been using it. What I've done is I've just wet it with my Fix Plus, and I've dabbed it into bubble gum from the Sugar Pop palette. Now, you can use any colors from, you know, any palettes that are similar, and you're going to get the same kind of look. So you don't have to have a heat palette. You don't have to have the Sugar Pop palette. I know a lot of people don't have that, but that's just the color that I chose to go with because it's very vibrant. I like the color that it is. If you have the Vice palette from Urban Decay, that's a good one to use. Let me see if I can get this pink out of here. Okay, I think I got it. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of carve out my lid area with this. I'm going to kind of pat it on, and then I'm going to go into the corner. I'm going to go a little bit above my crease so that you can see it. Just like that. I'm just trying to feather it in a little bit. Just like that. That's really all it takes. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back into that color. If I can get the pink to come up again. If you go in with it too wet, sometimes, you know, it can ruin the shadow. And this one, I really need to scrape the top off of it. That's what I need to do. Uh-oh, let me wet it and try again. Okay. I mean, go in for the pink. Okay. I feel like I'm painting from an easel. Okay. And it's hard to talk while I'm doing it too, because I'm trying to feather it in. It's just a really pretty color with that warm crease, in my opinion. I like it anyway. Okay, so I think I've got it pretty even, like that right there. You see how strong the color is? Okay, now what I'm going to do, while that is drying, I'm just going to set my Fix Plus back over here and put that brush down. I'm going to go in with the original brush that I used. I found the E40. I'm not going to add any additional product to this, but I am going to go in and blend out that crease again with the E40, which is the one that I did use a crease color with. Just so that there are no harsh lines. And sometimes you have to go in and, you know, add a little bit more if you're unhappy with the way that anything is looking. If you want the outer corner to be more prominent, which, you know, if it's more smoky and everything, that would be more of a nighttime look. So I might decide that I want to add a little bit more and make it a little smokier. Then, of course, you can do it that way. I personally prefer to just leave it like this, because for me this is more of a daytime appropriate look. It's already going to be smoky enough, so I just, you know, I don't want to go in and make it really dark out there, because then I mean, you know, I would feel like that's more of a nighttime look. But that's just my personal opinion. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go in with I have this brush. It is called a it's a Sigma medium angled shading. It's an E70, but it's real nice and fluffy, and it's angled. And I really like this because it's perfect for the brow bone. I'm going to go back into the Sugar Pop palette, but you can use any, I mean, you can use any color really. But I'm going to go into this one. It's called Rock Candy. It's this one right here. It's a bright, it's lighter than my skin tone, but it does have a bit of sparkle to it, and that's what I like it for, since I'm using it on the brow bone. So I'm just going to load my brush up, tap it off, and then I'm just going to go right underneath that brow with this fluffy brush. And since this brush is fluffy, what I have found when using this underneath my brow bone is that it helps blend in softer, and I don't have any harsh line between my brow bone highlight and my crease color. I go in kind of sideways at first to deposit the majority of the product, and then I just start kind of blending, and it works for me. Let me put a little bit more on this side, because when I go to fill in my pitiful excuse of a brow, I want it to be clearly seen. Now, do you see how soft the look is between the two colors? That's what you're looking for. You're looking for a nice blended shade. So I'm going to put that away. Let me grab something to drink, because I have been through it. You just don't know. I have been through it, like crazy through it. It has been, the last month or so has been really rough for me as far as my health is concerned. You guys know that I have health issues and that sort of thing. So this is probably not any surprise to you that I'm having health issues. But what happened is that I was already on a lot of medication, but I've lost 85 pounds since my gastric bypass the 1st of March. And none of my doctors thought to reduce my medication with my new weight. And I was still taking all the same, dosage, same milligram of each of my medications. Plus, I had some medications added to me that were different to help me through, in addition to my vitamins and supplements. So what happened was, it took my body over. It was almost like I was overdosing my body with medication because I'm smaller than I was. And I have what's called dysautonomia. And basically what that means is everything that happens in your body automatically does not happen in my body. You can look it up if you choose to. I'll leave a link maybe if I can remember in the bottom. If you're really interested in finding out what dysautonomia is, maybe I can find a link to something that you would... you could read and learn about it, but it goes along with chronic fatigue syndrome and fibromyalgia, that sort of thing. It's really common with people that have those things. But basically, when your blood vessels and veins are supposed to constrict when you stand up and down and things like that, mine don't do that. And so that means that when you take medicines that increase your the dilation of your blood vessels and veins, when you have a lot of medication in your system, that means that when you stand up or sit down, then you have a lot of blood rushing from one place to another. So I'm not getting a lot of blood flow into my extremities. And when I stand up, a lot of it just like it comes out of my brain really fast, and it's been causing me to pass out, and I've gotten hurt a couple of times. So, yeah, so we're working on that. We have reduced my medications that complicate the problem. And I'm also on a medication that is supposed to help the problem. And I'm going to be on it for 2 to 3 weeks. And then I'm supposed to go back to my cardiologist, and we'll see what is happening from there. But that's basically what's been going on, guys. I've been passing out and trying to get in a lot of fluids. I went to the emergency room twice in a 24-hour period because I was so sick. First of all, I had a really bad bladder infection. But I didn't get feeling any better, and I started passing out. I woke up on my bathroom floor, so I called my mom. I was like, I just woke up. I passed out. I got to go back to the emergency room. And so, long story short, I saw the doctor, and he knew immediately that it was my dysautonomia. It was like, wow. So, yeah, there's that. So, anyway, something on my screen there. But anyway, that's what's been going on with me. Now, I'm just going to go in with my Anastasia Brow Wiz, and I'm just going to start kind of trying to give myself a little bit of a brow here. Lord knows. What happened is I had to have them trimmed. They had gotten the brows themselves had gotten a little too long, and I had them waxed. And you know that I have sparse ones. So when they're trimmed and they're sparse, and I start at the front, kind of make some, little flicks up, And then I go under and I start forming what would be the underneath of my brow line. Just like that right there. And then I start filling, I leave a little bit of a tail and I start filling in as I get up this direction. And then I just brush it out. And then if I need anything else to it, I add to it. That's about as good as it's going to get for now. I just don't have much to work with. So I'm happy that I have that much. And you can see the difference. Surely, again, you can see the difference. Okay, let me brush through this one. This one lays funny. Not sure why, but it does. So I have to kind of, this is my funky one. This is the one that I can never get right. And it's not because it's on my left side. It's just strictly because the hair grows in odd directions. Which makes it hard to get it to lay down. And also makes it hard to get a nice clean look. What do you guys think? I am going to use my Brow Wiz from Benefit. Still have it. I had gotten away from using it for a while. But while my brows are short and sparse right now, they kind of need it, you know, and it helps them kind of lay down and, you know, stay in one direction. So there's that. Okay. Now then, I think what I want to do is I want to finish my face before I do my under eyes and my Brow Wiz. So yeah, let's just go ahead and work on my face. I think what I should do is just go ahead and use my Hourglass palette. I want the new one that's out for this year. This new, the new one, I'm sure it's beautiful like this one. And Lord knows I've got my money out of this one. I'm just going to go into this bottom one. If you could see the dent that I've made, I kind of combine these just a little bit to give me a lot more warmth. This is supposed to be a blush, but it's got a lot of brown in it, so I use it just like this. Gives me a nice warm, just a touch of pink to it, which I really like on my cheeks. You know, it's really nice to have that color in there like that. I still do blush, but it gives me that rosiness that I have naturally. It just, you know, I color correct what's down below so that it's not as noticeable. But it's nice to have just a little bit of rosiness back in my cheeks, even in my blush area. So, I mean, in my bronzer area. And then I'll go in and do blush, and I like to mix it in. So we're just going to do this for now. Okay. Then I use only the brown, and I kind of go around my hairline just a little bit because I don't want it to be so obvious, you know, that it's just makeup there meeting my hair. And I do like to go around just a little bit. Even though I don't have the fat little jaws that I used to have, it's just, you know, I just like to have that there. It just makes me feel better to have it there. And so that's what I do. Okay, and then I'm going to go in with the other end of this brush. And I'm going to go into the blush. And I'm not putting it necessarily on the apples of my cheek, but I'm putting it just sort of like at the front and bringing it back. Sort of like a comma shape, only it's straight instead of curved. I don't really know how to say that. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing here. And that way, all things kind of come together. Gives me a nice look. Gives me something that makes me comfortable. That way I don't feel like I'm overwhelmed with redness and that sort of thing. Kind of. Now what I like to do when I'm finished with that is I go in and I take my blush, my brush from powdering, and I kind of tone it down just a little bit and mix it together. Just like that right there. See what I mean? Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go in with highlight and also my work on my lower lash line. So let's go in with highlight. I believe this is it. Yep, this is it. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't believe that I hit pan. I mean, you can barely see that I hit pan, but I hit it right there, and I was like, oh, I need to start working around the edges just a little bit. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to kind of load my brush up, tap off the extra, and I'm going to start working right here where light would naturally hit the top of my cheek. And then I like to go up above the arch of my brow just a bit. I just think it looks nice, especially after you use a setting spray. It's such a pretty thing, this champagne pop is. I just love it. I mean, I literally could douse my whole body in it and be totally happy. I just love it. And I guess that's the reason that I've hit pan, because I use it so much. I mean, it's my most used, no doubt. Okay, let's go down the nose. Just right there. I just do it from like there down. Right on the end. And of course the Cupid's bow. Just like that. Okay, so when I go to put on, and I do like to just kind of run over it just a little bit, just to settle it down into the skin just a little bit. Okay, just like that. That's really all that I have left to do to my face. Now, my hair is up in a bun because I washed it, and I like to put it up in a bun so you can see my frizzies, but that's okay. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to work on my bottom lash line. Now, for my bottom lash line, there's several things that I want to do. I do have this pointed brush. It's an E36. It's just, you know, a nice blending brush for the bottom there. And I want to go in with, if I can find it, my Urban Decay Alkaline. Here is my Urban Decay Alkaline. And it is a purple, and I'm going to kind of go in and tight line. I was watching Katie's last video, Luster Lux. I love her and Desi, and I was watching her last one, and she said that she'd been kind of addicted to this lately. I think that plums and bronzes and warm colors like this are just really pretty this time of year. They're festive and easy to do. And you don't have to do the pink. You could do, you know, a really pretty bone color that's sparkly or anything like that. Anything that would, you know, look nice. This actually didn't go all the way. I need to touch that up just a little bit. Didn't quite get it all the way to the corner. It's there now though. But yeah, she said she had been kind of addicted to this color. So I'm just lining my eyes with it. Now what I'm going to do, instead of just the waterline, I'm going to go down into the lashes just a touch. Just a little bit, just into the lash line to grab some of the product off of the liner. Okay. Now, I'm going to go into the Sugar Pop palette again, and I'm going to grab that blackberry color that I used in my outer corner on this pointed brush, and I'm just going to blend this in. Just buff it. And I want to bring it out to the corner to meet that outer corner. That way it has a little bit more of a cohesive look. It does make my eyes a little red while I'm messing around with them, but I think it's a pretty color nonetheless, and I think it's very that particular pencil I think is very complimentary to the purple and the pink that I used on my lid. So yeah, there's that. Okay, so what I want to do now is I'm going to go into let me find a good I know that, yeah, here we go. This is just a Morphe brush. No, this is a crown brush. It's the C513, whatever. I'm going to go into my champagne pot for my inner corner. I'm just going to grab a little bit of that. Nothing major. And I'm just going to bring that into my inner corner, kind of in a V shape. Just to brighten that area up just a little bit. Out just a little bit further. Just like that. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to brush through my brows with my Gimme Brow. I use like just the medium, light medium. And it's starting to get old. I'm going to have to get rid of it soon. But I'm trying to get as much out of it as I possibly can. But I'm just going to brush through my tiny little brows. Just barely brush through. Okay. See, I have like a little area right there that's kind of thin looking, but can't do anything about it. Might as well just deal with it. And this does have fibers in it, which helps. And it does catch onto any small hair that happens to be growing there, like peach fuzz is what we call it here in the South. But yeah, it does help with the darkening up of, you know, a brow. It really does. And it also helps those hairs that don't want to grow in the right direction. It helps kind of cement them down just a little bit. Helps a lot. It really does. Okay, so that's all that I'm going to do for my face. I am going to do my eyeshadow. my eyeshadow. I'm going to do my mascara next and that sort of thing. But before I do, I'm going to go ahead and spray my face because I do not want to have mascara running all over my face. And then, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So I've already primed with my Scandinavia. That's what I primed with, was my oil control spray. So now I'm going to go into my finishing spray of the same brand. I'm going to go in and I'm just going to spray my face really good. Actually, before I do, let me put on a little, try to get some of the makeup off my lips. A little bit of chapstick just before, you know, I start working on my lips. But let me go ahead and do this. Okay, now Scandinavia, if you didn't already know, actually makes all of the Urban Decay sprays. It's an excellent product. It's worth the money. It's lasted me forever. You don't have to, you know, use a whole lot. It has a great sprayer on it and that sort of thing. I just love it. So, yeah. So, what it does is it gives you a wonderful look as far as your makeup's concerned. It makes everything kind of come just like melt into your skin and all become one product rather than it looking like you've got a streak of bronzer, a streak of blush, and some highlighter on top. You see what I'm saying? So it really does help. If you have a lot of like facial hair, you know, like fuzz, which I do. I haven't shaved my face lately, but if you do, you can take something while it's still damp and you can pat it down like a I mean, you can use something like, you know, a powder puff or anything like that, and you could just kind of lightly tap it down so that it touches your skin. Helps a lot. Okay, let's work on mascara. Okay, I'm using the Clinique Double Lash. I'm going to try to be careful with it, but you guys know how me and mascara work together. We don't. I heard somewhere that if you need your sample to last a little longer to keep you from having to purchase a new one, that you can put a couple of drops of eye solution, like saline solution, you know, like contact solution, or a Visine or something like that. You can put a couple of drops of that into the tube, you know, kind of wiggle it around, and that it will refresh your mascara for a little while longer. Okay, did make some mistakes I've got to clean up, but that's okay. So far, you see the mistakes I made underneath there. But yeah, I'll clean that up, and then I will, yeah, I'll clean up over here. Got something on my eye. Okay, so what I'm going to do first, before I start working on lips, is I'm going to use my Kiehl's toner. This Kiehl's Ultra Facial Toner. This is what I use on my beauty blender, the tip of my beauty blender, and I wet the tip of my beauty blender, and then when I wet it, what happens is it's sort of a, not really oily, but it's a very, it looks milky on the, you know, the tip of it or whatever. But what it does is it really helps with the under eye as far as taking away the look of any cakiness. Let me get I need to get that off right there before I go in with this. I just tap it, and it really hides a lot of my fine lines, and it keeps it from looking cakey in person. So that's the reason that I do that. That was a Wayne Goss tip. I was already wondering, what in the world am I going to do about these under eye wrinkles that I'm having? I mean, you guys, I'm 48, so of course I'm going to have them. But yeah, I was kind of hoping that they would not show up so soon. Okay, I'm going to be taking, this is what I used last time. This is a NYX lip pencil, and it's in the color, it says it's waterproof. It's in nude pink, but it's by NYX. I really like it. It's one of the twistable ones. So I'm just going to twist it up and line my lips. And I like to start in my Cupid's bow. You guys know as you get older, our lips tend to get thinner. And so one way you can combat that is by overlining just a touch. And I try to do that on my upper lip. I'm fine with my bottom lip, but my upper lip is really thin. So I like to try and overline just a touch. And so the bottom of my lip, I start in the center. Just like that. And then I connect. After I connect it, I start filling in. It's a really smooth, creamy pencil, and especially with the chapstick underneath, it helps my lips from looking quite so, you know, I mean, they already look, you know, with a lot of like wrinkles in them and that sort of thing, but that's just with the lip stuff. So let me go ahead and tell you what I've been using on my lips for, gosh, I don't know. It's been a while. Let me see which one it is. I think it's Bow and Arrow. Yes, I've been using Kat Von D Bow and Arrow. I just really like it a lot. It's a nice neutral color, and it looks really good with this eye look. The pink underneath with this, to me, it turns out to make a pretty good combination. Go back in for my bottom lip. Start in the center. I just love the formula of the Kat Von D Everlasting Liquid Lipsticks. I just love it. Okay, so that's the color that I've chosen to go with this look, this eye look. I think it's a really pretty look. All I have to do now is just go and start cleaning up any of the mascara. And if you didn't already know, use a, you know, a Q-tip. I like these that are, you know, kind of pointed. You can just kind of flick off the mascara mistakes really easily. Just have a lot to fix is the problem. Okay, let's see here. There, just like that. That's all it really takes. And then, you know, now what I'm going to do, now see, I cannot stress strongly enough that you have to be very careful. If you are going to curl after your lashes have mascara on them, they have to be completely dry. You're just going to jerk them right out of the roots. I mean, you have to be really positive that they are dry. You can touch them or whatever. But usually if you've taken the time to do your lips and that sort of thing and other things that you might need to do, then chances are, can you see the difference? You see how those are standing up further? They're much more at attention. That's why I like to curl after. It gives them more of a permanent curl. Now you can use a hairdryer and you can heat these, but I'm scared to death of burning myself, so girl ain't going there. But you know, you can see what a difference it makes for my lashes from side to side. Do you see how curled they are? Can you see right there how curled they are? Yeah, that's what it does for my lashes. So yeah, guys, if I were going somewhere, which I'm not, but if I were going somewhere, I would now do my hair and that would be the end of it. So that's going to be it for this video. I mean, you know, it's been so long since I've done a face-to-face video, and you really do, you forget like how to do some things. And I just, I really like this look. I think it's a pretty look. I think it's appropriate for fall. I think it would be a really pretty look to wear to a Thanksgiving dinner or something like that. So I'm not really sure what I'm going to call this video, but I hope you enjoyed watching. I hope you enjoyed watching me do my shadow and that sort of thing. But yeah, that's going to be it, guys. I hope that you guys do a better job at shading it out than I did. I didn't blend quite as much as I probably needed to. I could fix that easily if I wanted to. See how much better that looks? You just, sometimes you have to just, when you pass by the mirror, you have to stop, look at yourself and say, okay, does everything look okay? And that's what I do. Okay, so anyway, guys, this is the look. I would normally curl my hair at this point, but actually I'm keeping it up in a bun, and I need to have my roots done. My gray is starting to show. All my natural color is starting to show, but I'm not going anywhere. This was just for fun and to get my makeup done, and I thought, you know, if I'm going to do it, I might as well film it too, so it's for you also. I hope that you enjoyed watching. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button, which gives me a thumbs up. I very much appreciate it when you guys do that. If you're new to my channel, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. I would love to have you join my YouTube family. Guys, that's going to be it. I'm going to talk to you later, and I'm going to go with my pink eyeshadow and have some lunch. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.